Hello friends, welcome to Geeky Rapid. Welcome to a series on Cucumber. Up till now, we have seen that how to prepare a Cucumber script for different scenarios and also a few of the different parameterization techniques. So the different techniques that we saw includes data-driven testing without the example keywords, the data-driven testing with example keywords, as well as data-driven testing with data tables using the list. So also we had seen the different Cucumber options that we can use. So today we'll see data-driven testing. And so one more type data-driven testing. So how to do data-driven testing with data table using maps. So let us begin. So to do this, just open your Eclipse. So this is a valid logging scenario, and we have created a step definition file as well as the test runner file. So to begin with data tables with map, first of the thing that we need to do is just go in your new to login feature file, and this is the step that needs to be parameterized. So in here, same as we did in list, just use the pipe separated username and password. So this will be used as your test data. So let's use this, and one more username password that I will provide. So I have created one more. So this is the one. So this is the only change that we need to do in our feature file, and we'll just save it. Now we'll just move to our step definition file, and this is the method that we need to change. So in here, what we'll do is we'll just copy this method and we'll replace this. So we'll just comment this out. So this is the original one which we had used. So now in here, when we are specifying this, whenever we use data tables, so in here we will have to use data table. So as we have seen it earlier, we will give this as name as credentials. So just import the data table API library file from Cucumber API. Once this is done, so now we will have to enter one more step. So in here, so that is uh, we will have to use credentials. So this is the variables, and we will be using this as maps. So we will specify as maps, and then we will have to specify the value type. So the value which we are using is a key value pair. So username and password are the key, and below are the given values are the value of it. So in here, both are a string. So we will be using string dot class, string dot class, and the value will be also string. Okay, so once this is done, we need to take this into a particular. So if you hover on this as map, you can see this is a map type of object with string and string. So we'll define it as map, then string, comma string, and then we will take this in variables. Data is the variable, and yes, so we have done this. And now we will have to import map from Java. So that is also done. So for this, we'll have to add. So we'll have to add cast. Okay, so this is done. So now what we'll have to do is, so these are the steps. So we will have to take this into a for loop. So for that, we'll copy this a bit, and then we'll just take this in a for loop. So define a for loop, and then just give this one. Okay, so this should be in a for loop. Okay. Okay. So this one, yeah. So now we have to do a couple of changes in here. For map string of string data, yeah, we have to provide one colon, and then we have to just remove this the cast which we have added. Okay, so this will work. So now this is the only thing that we need to do, and in send keys we will have to write. So in here we have to type in data. So we'll use this variable. We'll get the value from it using this get, and then we have to pass the key name. So that is username in this case. And similarly, we'll have to copy this and we have to take it here. And we have to pass. So password. Yeah. So we have successfully made the changes to step definition file also. So we have used a map object, and as we are using multiple data, so that's why we are using a for loop here, and we have given the steps, and we are passing the username and password accordingly by retrieving it from this data variable. So now let's run this one and let's see what happens. So we'll run, and it should run the steps multiple times as we have given two username and password. So the Chrome browser is launching. And just observe what happens in here. So whatever the name we have passed, username and password, those were entered, but those were entered in a single go. So what happens is, we'll just close this, and this has failed. So this has failed because, so in here the for loop will only run for this one, and now this whole things like initializing the browser and getting the URL, and then afterward clicking on the login button and everything, these are on in the separate methods. So under this for loop we will have to give the whole login scenario. So for that what we'll do is we'll just copy this. This is the first one. So this is the initialization of driver. So just copy this. We have to give the whole thing under the for loop. So this code is for initializing the browser. Then similarly, we will have to take the title of the home page. This is the second one. Then third one is the inserting of username and password. Then afterwards, this login button click. So this whole scenario needs to be there in the for loop. Then this username taking of username means retrieving the title of your page after login and printing it. And then lastly we'll have to click on logout. So this is a step for logout, and then lastly this is driver.quick. So this will be the last step, so that will close the browser. So now as we commented this out, we will also quickly comment it out. So these all unnecessary steps we will comment it out. And also we will change the feature file a bit. Okay, now this is done. Then this is user enters username and password. Okay, this also needs to be commented as we have included these steps also. Okay, and now in here this given the steps needs to be commented out. So we'll do one thing. We'll just take this in a notepad file so that we'll save it for afterwards. This will be taken, and now what we'll do is we'll remove this from here. So these steps are unnecessary steps. Okay, so now we'll write given in here, and we'll write user enters with a name. Instead of this we'll write user login scenario. So accordingly we'll make the changes in here. User login scenario. And user underscore this will remove, and we'll write user login scenario. Okay, so we have written it, user login scenario. So just by using dry run, we'll see whether all the steps are there for whatever steps we have written in the feature file. So let us see. Quickly run, give a dry run. Any steps? So there are no steps missing, and now we are good to go. So let's save this. So this is already saved. This is also saved. Okay, so let's make this false, and now the data driven will run the data driven testing. Okay, so now if when we'll run the scenario, it should run twice and it should produce results twice. So the browser has launched and first username and password has been picked and user is logging in. So once this is done, now sign off and browser close. And now again the browser is launched for the second username and password. And now you can see the different username is been picked. And sign up and browser close. And now if we see the results, so this scenario, so if we just go in here and if we go into test output folder, we'll just open this. Let's go to the location and we'll open this in browser. Now in here you can see, so this scenario ran for 2 iteration and both were successful. So these both successful login were made, and in this way we achieved data-driven testing using map object. So this is one more possible way to obtain data-driven testing, and here you can specify any number of username and password. And so for this login scenario, so such type of thing can be achieved in any scenario. And yeah, that's all for maps. So with this, we have come to an end of this video, this series that was on the data-driven testing, how to do data-driven testing using maps. Hope you have liked it and do post all your questions, suggestions in the comment section below. So see you soon with more Cucumber related content. Until then, have a great time. Thank you and have a good day.